They believed tormenting a 91-year-old veteran would be effortless, until they discovered someone far more formidable was observing. Sunday Valley, Kansas, was a quaint, tranquil town where life unfolded at a leisurely pace, shielded from the chaos of urban centers. It was a community where residents recognized each other by name and exchanged warm smiles as they strolled down the street. The homes, some dating back to the early 1900s, bore weathered brick facades and yards adorned with flower beds or meticulously tended lawns. In the late afternoons, children's laughter echoed through the crisp air as they played in the neighborhood. Life here moved gently, predictably. The heart of the town was a small diner on Main Street, a gathering spot for locals who came each morning for coffee and chatter. The owners, John and Mary, knew every patron's coffee preferences and never missed an opportunity to inquire about their families. It was a place where the extraordinary rarely occurred, and the unspoken promise of continuity held firm. Then there was Sam Johnson, a lifelong resident of Sunday Valley. At 91, Sam was a revered figure, his name spoken with the same respect accorded to the town's founders. He lived in a modest house on Elm Street, a home steeped in history, his history. A World War II veteran, Sam had served on the front lines, witnessed the fall of comrades, and returned with a quiet pride that only those who had served could understand. Over the years, age had slowed his movements and softened his once sharp eyes, but his spirit remained unbroken. His home, like him, showed signs of wear but retained its character. A faded U.S. flag hung on his porch, and his overgrown flower garden hinted at its former beauty. Each morning, Sam walked the same streets he had as a young man, though now with the aid of a cane. He rarely asked for help, but never hesitated to offer it. Sam's peaceful existence was disrupted one afternoon when a rusty, sputtering van pulled onto Elm Street. The vehicle, out of place in Sunday Valley, stopped in front of Sam's house. 3 men emerged, their demeanor menacing. The leader, a tall, tattooed man with a swagger of entitlement, approached Sam with a smirk. "Hey there, old man," he called, his tone dripping with disrespect. "We've got some business with you." Sam, unflinching, met the man's gaze. "Do I know you?" he asked, his voice steady. The leader ignored the question. "You're Sam Johnson, right? The war hero? We know all about you. You've got something we need." Sam's grip tightened on his cane. He didn't recognize these men, but their intentions were clear. What he didn't know was that someone far more dangerous was watching. Hidden in the shadows of a grove of oak trees, Rambo observed the scene. His military instincts had kicked in the moment the van arrived. He had seen its kind before, men who thought they could take what they wanted without consequence. As the thugs closed in on Sam, Rambo emerged, silent and deliberate. His presence alone was enough to shift the balance of power. "You're not welcome here," Rambo said, his voice low but commanding. The thugs, caught off guard, hesitated. The leader tried to regain his composure, but Rambo's calm authority unnerved him. When one of the thugs made a move, Rambo disarmed him with ease, sending him crumpling to the ground. The others, realizing they were outmatched, fled. Sam, still seated on his porch, exhaled in relief. "You didn't have to do that," he said, gratitude in his voice. "I've handled worse before." Rambo nodded. "I know, but you shouldn't have to." The 2 men stood in silence, a mutual respect passing between them. Sam, a veteran of a past war, and Rambo, a soldier who had never truly left the battlefield, understood each other without words. As the sun set over Sunday Valley, the town returned to its quiet rhythm, but something had changed. The residents had witnessed courage in action, a reminder that standing up for what's right is never futile. And for now, thanks to Rambo, Sunday Valley was safe. Some battles are fought long after the war is over, and some men never stop being soldiers. The evening deepened, and the warm glow of the setting sun gave way to the cool, silvery light of the moon. The street lights flickered on, casting long shadows across Elm Street. Sam remained on his porch, his cane resting against the arm of his chair, while Rambo stood nearby, his gaze scanning the quiet neighborhood. The air was still, but the tension from earlier had dissipated, replaced by a sense of calm vigilance. Sam broke the silence first. "You ever think about staying?" he asked, his voice carrying a note of curiosity. "Sunday Valley could use someone like you." Rambo's expression remained unreadable, But there was a flicker of something in his eyes, perhaps a hint of longing, or maybe just the weight of too many battles fought. "Not my style," he replied simply. "I move where I'm needed." Sam nodded, understanding. He had seen enough in his lifetime to know that some men were destined to wander, to fight, to protect. Rambo was one of those men. "Well," Sam said, leaning back in his chair, "you're always welcome here, you know that, right?" Rambo gave a slight nod, acknowledging the offer. "Appreciate it." The two men lapsed into silence again, each lost in their own thoughts. For Sam, the encounter had been a stark reminder that even in a town as peaceful as Sunday Valley, danger could still find its way in. But it had also reinforced his belief in the importance of standing up for what was right, no matter the cost. For Rambo, it was just another day, another moment, where he had stepped in to protect someone who couldn't protect themselves. It was who he was, what he did. As the night wore on, the sounds of the town grew quieter. The occasional hum of a car engine or the distant bark of a dog was all that broke the stillness. Sam eventually rose from his chair, his joints protesting the movement. "I think I'll turn in," he said, stretching slightly. "You need anything before I head inside?" Rambo shook his head. "I'm good. You take care, Sam." Sam gave a small smile. "You too, Rambo. And thanks for everything." Rambo didn't respond, but the look in his eyes said enough. He watched as Sam made his way inside, the door closing softly behind him. For a moment, Rambo stood alone on the porch, the weight of the night settling around him. Then, with a final glance down the empty street, he turned and disappeared into the shadows, just as quietly as he had arrived. The next morning, Sunday Valley woke to a new day. The events of the previous afternoon were already becoming the stuff of local legend, whispered about in the diner and over backyard fences. People spoke of the mysterious stranger who had stepped in to protect Sam, of the thugs who had fled with their tails between their legs. There was a newfound sense of pride in the town, a reminder that even in the face of danger, they could stand strong. Sam, for his part, went about his usual routine. He walked down Elm Street, his cane tapping lightly against the pavement, and stopped by the diner for his morning coffee. John and Mary greeted him warmly, their usual banter tinged with a hint of awe. "Heard you had some excitement yesterday," John said, pouring Sam's coffee just the way he liked it. Sam chuckled. "Just another day in Sunday Valley," he replied, though the twinkle in his eye betrayed his amusement. As the days turned into weeks, life in Sunday Valley returned to its normal rhythm. The rusty van was towed away, and the thugs were never seen again. But the memory of what had happened lingered, a quiet reminder that courage and strength could be found in the most unexpected places. And though Rambo was gone, his presence was still felt. The townsfolk carried themselves a little taller, a little prouder, knowing that someone had been willing to stand up for them. For Sam, it was a reminder that even in his old age, he wasn't alone. There were still people out there who believed in doing the right thing, no matter the cost. As for Rambo, he moved on, as he always did. There were other towns, other battles, other people who needed his help. But somewhere in the back of his mind, he carried the memory of Sunday Valley, a quiet little town where, for a brief moment, he had found a sense of belonging. And so, life went on. The sun rose and set, the seasons changed, and the world kept turning. But in Sunday Valley, the story of the 91-year-old veteran and the mysterious stranger who had come to his aid became a part of the town's historia tale of courage, resilience, and the enduring power of standing up for what's right. Because sometimes, heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes, they wear faded jackets and carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. And sometimes, they remind us all that no matter how dark the night, there's always a dawn waiting to break.